Good evening, children. Am I audible?
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, so please help me. From where should we continue? I think we finished the first two, right? We're done with this and this. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Did I explain this?
Yes,
Yes or no? Okay, no answer. So what about this one, children?
no, ma'am.
All right, so till here,
No, ma'am.
this one is explained, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, children, fine. All right. So here I told you in the last class, if m times the mth term is equal to n times the nth term, show that the m plus nth term is 0. That is what is given to us symbolically. M times the mth term is equal to n times the nth term. If this is given to you, if this is true, then show that the m plus nth term is 0. So we work the given condition. We are given this one. M times mth term is equal to n times nth term. So this m you can see here. How do you expand am? A plus m minus 1 into d is equal to this n out here. And what is an? A plus n minus 1 into d. That's the first step. Next, multiply. Multiply m with all the terms inside the bracket. So m into a is am. And here m into d is md. md into m outside. See here. Here we'll have to do multiplication of two things. M into d is md. And then the m outside. So m square d. Then minus 1 into d is minus d. Into the m outside. Minus md. M into d is md. Into m square d. Minus 1 into d is minus d. Minus d into m minus md is equal to a into n is an. N into d is nd. There's an n outside here. So nd into n square d. Minus 1 into d minus d into n. Minus d into n is minus nd. Okay. So now we bring after opening the brackets, we take all the terms to one side and we group the terms that contain A and group the terms that contain D. A and D. We take all the terms to one side and then we group the terms that contain A and D. So next step, take all the terms to the left hand side is equal to 0. Then you can see that this term and this term, they have A in it. And the remaining terms have D. There are 6 terms in all. 2 terms have A and the remaining 4 terms have D. So I've grouped it like that. So AM minus AN, then plus M square D minus MD minus N square D plus ND is equal to 0. Then take out A common. We have grouped the 2 terms that have A. So take out A common. In the bracket, you will get M minus N. And here D is common. D is common. So in the bracket, you will get M square. I'll tell you why I've written n square. I just want to write m. You can also, I think next step I've shown that, yeah. Maybe here you can write m square minus m minus n square plus n. You can write it like this here. A is common, m minus n plus d is common. Then in the bracket you would get m square minus m minus n square plus n is equal to 0. In the next step, you can rearrange a into m minus n. You can see the same step here, a into m minus n. Then you can rearrange plus d into, write m square minus n square, like gather these two, and then minus m plus n. Am I clear? Am I clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now write this as it is. Write this one as it is. This d as it is. We know that m square minus n square can be written as m plus n into m minus n. And here, n plus this also in a bracket. Take out minus common. Take out minus common. Minus. So in the bracket, you would get minus m, minus into minus plus n. See here, minus m plus n. See here, take out minus common. Minus m. Minus into minus n is plus n. Next, write this one as it is. And here, see, this is one term. This is another term separated by a minus sign. M plus n into m minus n minus m minus n. So m minus n is common. M in the bracket, m minus n is common. See here, m minus n, this is one term. This is another term separated by a minus sign. So m minus n is common. Bring it out. So in the bracket, you will get m plus n minus 1. See, apply this one. Just treat this one as A and this one as B minus B. So B is common. This is B. This is B. B is common. So in the bracket, what would you get? If it is AB minus B, if you take out B common in the bracket, you will get A minus 1. AB minus B. When you take out B common in the bracket, you will get AB minus 1. Similarly here, B is M minus N. That's common. So in the bracket, you will get A minus 1. A, which is M plus N, minus 1. So minus 1. Minus 1 is minus 1. So this is common. This is common. It comes out here. And then in the bracket, you should write this one, M plus N. Minus, this is already common, so 1 minus 1 is equal to 0. Is equal to 0. At this point, you can see that every term has m minus n. This one is a into m minus n. Here also the product. What's the product here? D into m minus n into m plus n minus 1. How do you get this step? You understood this? On taking m minus n common, you will get this. So you can see here, we have in this term, we have m minus n. In this term also, we have m minus n. So you can divide by m minus n throughout. Divide every term by m minus n. So this by m minus n, this by m minus n is equal to 0 by m minus n. So m minus n gets cancelled, m minus n gets cancelled. So you get a plus d, this d I've written here, a plus d, and this m plus n minus 1, m plus n minus 1. So we get a plus m plus n minus 1 into d is equal to 0. A plus m plus n minus 1 into d is 0. So this means the m plus nth term is 0. Because what is an? A plus n minus 1 into d. A plus n minus 1 into d is the nth term. So a plus m plus n minus 1 into d will be the m plus nth term. M plus n minus 1 into d will be the m plus nth term. N minus 1 into d is the nth term. M plus n minus 1 into d will be the m plus nth term. So this means the m plus nth term is 0. Is it clear, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, if you go correct this one, here you can write this as m square minus m minus n square plus n. And then in the next step, you can, arrange the terms. All right, children. Yes, children. So this is the next one. If the sum to P terms is equal to sum to Q terms in a particular AP, in a particular arithmetic progression, if the sum to P terms is equal to the sum to Q terms, then show that the P plus Q term is 0. The sum to P plus Q terms is equal to 0. In an AP, if the sum to P terms, that is the sum of the first P terms, is equal to the sum of the first Q terms, then show that the sum of the first P plus Q terms is 0. In an AP, if the sum of the first P terms is equal to the sum of the first Q terms, then show that the sum of the first P plus Q terms, the first P plus Q terms is 0. Okay. So again, we'll start with, the equation or the condition given to us. We are given that SP, sum to P terms is equal to sum to Q terms. Okay. So SP is equal to, okay, sum to P terms is equal to sum to Q terms, that is given to us. And now we'll expand using the formula. So Sn is n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1 into d. So SP will be p by 2 of 2a plus p minus 1 into d. Instead of n, it is p. So wherever there is n, use p, that's all. If it is n, you will say n by 2. If it's p, say p by 2. If it is n, you will say n minus 1 into d. It's p, so say p minus 1 into d, that's all. In the formula, wherever you have n, use p and q. So that is the first step or the first equation. N by 2, q by 2, 2a plus n minus 1, q minus 1 into d. Okay, then on either sides, 2 gets cancelled. We have 2 here and here, so you can cancel it out. Now, as we did earlier, meaning in the previous sum, multiply. Open the brackets. So p into 2a, 2ap. P into d, pd. Into p, p square d. Minus 1 into d, minus d. Minus d into p, minus pd. This is cancelled, okay? 2a into q, 2aq. Q into d, qd. Into q, q square d. Minus 1 into d, minus d. Into q, minus qd. Then bring all the terms to one side. Bring all the terms to one side is equal to 0. Then of the 6 terms, there will be 2 terms that have a in them. And the remaining 4 terms will have d. So group the terms that have a and d. Group the terms that have a and d. There are 6 terms in the left hand side. 2 terms have a in them. The remaining 4 terms have d. So group them. So see here. These 2 terms have a. You can see here a. And the remaining terms, they don't have a. You can see that the remaining terms don't have a. They have d. So group like that. Okay. Now take out whatever is common. So 2a is common. 2a is common. So you'll get p minus q in the bracket. And here d is common. D is common. So p square minus q square minus p plus q. Supposing you had q square here and this one here, you'll have to rearrange in the next step. Always have p square minus q square, m square minus n square together. Because then you can write them as, m plus n into m minus n or p plus q into p minus q. So supposing this one was here and this was here, in the next step, you'll have to rearrange the terms. So earlier we had m square and n square. m square minus n square is m plus n into m minus 1 n. So here we have p square minus q square, p plus q into p minus q. So write this as it is. And here p square minus q square is p plus q into p minus q. And here take out minus common. Minus is common. Minus p minus into minus q is plus q. That's the next step. So again, p minus q is common. Write this one as it is. Write this as it is. P minus q is common. So d, this d. P minus q is common. This is common. So you will get p plus q minus 1 in the bracket. P plus q minus 1. P minus q is common. P minus q is common. Bring it out. So in the bracket, you will have p plus q minus 1. P plus q minus 1 is equal to 0. Now, after this, you can see that this term has p minus q. This term also has p minus q. So divide by p minus q throughout. Divide by p minus q throughout. P minus q cancels. So we have 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d. 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d is equal to 0. 0 by p minus q is 0. So have that result. Nothing more you can do with that. Have that result. Now we have to, you'll have to show that this one is 0. That is the sum of the first p plus q terms is 0. So let's let's write this using the formula. What is sum of, how do you find the sum of the first p plus q terms? So p plus q by 2 of 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d. Wherever we have n in the formula, use p plus q. So sum to p plus q terms will be p plus q by 2 of 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d. But we know that this is 0. 2a plus p plus q minus 1 into d is 0. See here. This is 0. So using 1, I've called this 1. So using 1, this is 0. So we get p plus q by 2 into 0. So anything into 0 is 0. So like this, we have proved that the sum of the first p plus q terms is 0. Is it fine, children?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just coming, just a minute. Yeah, children. Any questions here?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right. Children, I had shared this slide, right, in the last class with you and asked you to complete it, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Please complete. If you have not done it, please do it. Okay. There's the next one. This one also I shared the slide, I think, meaning the answer. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
What about this?
This two you shared, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what. All right. Yeah, now the fifth one. So if the sum to m terms is n, if the sum to m terms is n and the sum to n terms is m, then show that the sum of the first m plus n terms is equal to minus of m plus n. If the sum of the first m terms is n and the sum of the first n terms is m, then show that the sum of the first m plus n terms is minus of m plus n. All right, so here we have two equations, two different equations. All right, so this is one, this is the other. So let's write them using the formula. Sm is equal to m by 2 of 2a plus m minus 1 into d. Sm, m by 2, 2a plus m minus 1 into d is equal to n, is equal to n. That's the first equation. And the other one is Sn, n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1 into d is equal to m, is equal to m. Now we're going to subtract these two equations. We're going to subtract these two equations. See, when we have am, then we'll solve it for a and d. See, when we have equations like this, that is about the term, the pth term is q, the qth term is p. Then when we have equations like this, we'll solve them to find the expressions for a and d. Remember that. Remember this one. Here the pth term is q and the qth term is p. We get two equations. In this case, what we'll do, we'll solve the two equations to find the expressions for a and d. See this one also. The mth term is 1 by n. The nth term is 1 by n. Mth term, nth term is given. So we get two equations. We'll solve the two equations and find the expressions for a and d. But when we have equations like this, yeah, when we have equations like this, that is out of the sum to m terms and sum to n terms, not the mth term and the nth term, sum to m terms, sum to n terms. Then we'll subtract the two equations. We'll not write the equations one below the other. You can do it like that also, but this is easier, meaning presenting like that, this is more comfortable. So remember, when you have equations about the terms, then solve them, write the equations one below the other, solve them to find the expressions for a and d. If it is not about the terms, if it is about the sum to m terms, sum to n terms, then subtract the two equations. So equation 1 minus equation 2 gives what? So write this one minus this one is equal to n minus m. This minus this is equal to n minus m. See, like when you have a is equal to c and b is equal to d, should subtract the LHS. A minus b is equal to subtract the RHS, c minus d. Subtract the LHS, subtract the RHS. So subtract the LHS, this one and this one is equal to subtract the RHS, n minus m. Is that understood?
Yes,
See, this is
ma'am.
the, yeah, this
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
left hand side. Yeah, this is the right hand side. This is the left hand side. This is the right hand side. Subtract the LHS. Subtract the LHS. LHS minus LHS. That's what we have written here. Is equal to RHS minus RHS. N minus N. Okay, so that's the first step. That is the first step. Now here, children, you cannot cancel 2 and 2. In this sum, we had 2 on either side, sir. See it, we had 2 on either side, so we cancelled 2 and 2. Here you cannot cancel 2 and 2. You cannot cancel. So common denominator, the common denominator, see here, the denominator throughout is only 2. 2, this 2 is like n by 2, right? So it's like the whole thing by 2. This one is also, see, if you have a by 2 into b, it's nothing but ab by 2. Or if you have a into m minus, if you have a by 2 into m minus n, it's nothing but a into m minus n, the whole thing by 2. Similarly here, this is like, this whole thing is by 2. So 2 is a common denominator. 2 is a common denominator. So again, multiply 2am. M into d is md into m square d. Minus 1 into d, minus d into m, minus md. Then you cannot cancel this 2 and 2, children. You cannot cancel. And here 2 is a common denominator. So leave this. 2 is a common denominator. Here also leave this 2. That's a common denominator. So here 2an. And there's a minus here. So minus 2an. So multiply the terms and the signs. 2a into n minus 2an. N into d, nd. Into n is n square d minus n square d. Minus d into minus n. See, here you will get minus d. This is minus d. And outside you have minus n. So plus nd. Plus nd. By 2 is equal to n minus n. Now cross multiply. That's what you can do. Cross multiply. So you'll get 2 here. Now again, there are 6 terms. In the left hand side, there are 2 terms which have a, and the remaining 4 terms have d. So group the terms that have a, group the terms that have d. Same thing. Everywhere it will be like this. So 2a is common, m minus n, and here d is common, and you get this. If this n square is in a different place, get it near m square. It should be m square minus n square. And here also minus m plus n is equal to. Now here what we do, we have n minus n. We know that if we have b minus a, you can write it as minus of a minus b. B minus a is equal to minus of a minus b. B minus a is equal to minus of a minus b. All right. So here n minus m is written as minus of m minus n. 2 into minus that is sorry, somebody is disturbing me here. N minus m, children, we write as minus of m minus n. Okay, there's a 2 there, so minus 2 into m minus n. So see, this becomes m minus n, and that minus here minus 2. All right. So now after this, we'll have to work with this bracket. Here m square minus n square becomes m plus n into m minus n, and then take out minus common. So you get minus m plus n. Minus of m minus n. Here you'll have to take out minus common, and in the bracket you'll get m. See here, minus into m is minus m. Minus into minus is plus n. Plus n, you can see here, plus n is equal to minus 2 into m minus n. So because here we have n minus m, we write it as minus of m minus n. Okay, then m minus n is common. M minus n is common. So in the bracket, you'll get m plus n minus 1. M plus n minus 1. The rest of it as it is. This one as it is. Only this bracket we'll have to simplify. Is equal to this one also as it is. Minus 2 into m minus n. Now divide by m. See here, this term has m minus n. This one also has m minus n. This one also has m minus n. So divide by m minus n throughout. So like this. So m minus n cancels, m minus n cancels, m minus n cancels. So we get 2a plus m plus n minus 1 into d, m plus n minus 1 into d is equal to minus 2. Is equal to minus 2. Have that result. Now we'll have to show that this is equal to minus of m plus n. So let's find s sum to m plus n terms. So how do you find the sum to first m plus n terms? Like n by 2, here it will be m plus n by 2. Like n by 2, here it is m plus n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1, m plus n minus 1 into d. And now we know that this is minus 2. The value of this one is minus 2. See here, this is minus 2. We already have it. The value of this one is minus 2. So substitute that using 1. I've called this 1, so using 1. Minus 2. So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. So sum to m plus n terms is equal to minus of m plus n. Yeah, children? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No. I'll let you know. Here, if the sum to the first Sn terms, if the sum to the first Sn terms is S1, the sum to the first two n terms is S2, and the sum to the first three n terms is equal to S3, then prove that S3 is equal to 3 times S2 minus S1. All right. So again, we have some equations here. We'll work with these. We'll work with these equations first. So Sn is given to be S1. I've just written it the other way. S1, because you can expand this using the formula. This one using the formula and this one using the formula. That is, the sum to n terms is called S1. The sum to 2n terms is called S2. The sum to 3n terms is called S3. So S1 is nothing but this. S1 is nothing but the sum to the first n terms. So S1 is equal to n by 2 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Then S2 means sum to first two n terms. S2 means the sum to the first two n terms. S2 is equal to S2n. So S2 is equal to 2n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Don't cancel 2 and 2. I'll tell you why. Don't cancel this. Don't cancel. Okay. Then S3 is sum to the first three n terms. So 3n by 2 of 2a plus 3n minus 1 into d. All right. Okay. Now let's work. Let's work S2 minus S1. Let's see, we are going to show that we'll first find S2 minus S1, then multiply it by 3, and we'll show that that result is equal to S3. We'll work S2 minus S1, and we'll multiply that by 3. And we'll show that that result is equal to S3. We have S3 here. See, we have S3 here. We have S3 here. We'll show that that's equal to S3. Okay, so first let's work S2 minus S1. S2 minus S1 is equal to, what is S2? See here, this is S2 minus S1, this one. So write S2 minus S1. See, children, this is S2, this is S1. See, what did we first do? First, we just worked with the conditions given to us. S1 is Sn. So we wrote S1 is equal to this one using the formula. S2 is equal to 2n. S2 is equal to S2n. So again, we work this using the formula. Similarly here, sum to 3n terms using the formula. See, you might not know that you'll have to call this one. Don't call it 1. If you don't know, don't write it there. Leave it. Don't mark it as 1 now. Now, we have already worked or expanded these conditions. Now let's take up what we have to prove. Okay, S3 is equal to 3 times S2 minus S1. So we'll work S2 minus S1. S2 minus S1. So see, this is S2. This is S2 minus S1. This is S1. So you can see I've written S2 here. I said don't cancel. Don't cancel this. Minus S1. Now you can see n by 2 is common. N by 2 is common. N by 2. You can't cancel 2 children. You cannot cancel. They are not on either sides. On the same side, we have 2. So n by 2 is common. N by 2 is common. Bring it out. Then the bracket, what will you get? 2a into 2, 4a. You'll have to, there's a 2 here, no? So you should multiply 2 with, see, inside the bracket, there are actually two things. There is this 2a and there is this 2n minus 1 into d, and the connector is a plus. In the bracket, we have 2a and we have 2n minus 1 into d, connected by a plus sign. So you'll have to multiply 2 to both of them. You'll have to multiply 2 to both of them because n by 2 is common. Now there's 2 here. Should multiply this one by 2 and you should multiply this one by 2. So it will be 4a. This is 4a. And when you multiply this one by 2, you'll get 4n minus 2 into d. See, when you have 2 into 3.
I can't understand why we can't cancel the 2, ma'am.
Which 2? Okay. So, Priyanka, now when we have a by 2 is equal to b by 4. Can we simplify this? 2 1s are 2 2s are. Can we do this? Yes, we can.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can, because a by 2 is equal to b by 4. Supposing we have this, it's like we are multiplying both the sides by 2. It's like we are multiplying both the sides by 2. So 2 and 2 cancels. 2 1s are 2 2s are. So in other words, a by 2 is equal to b by 4. You can simply simplify the denominators. 2 1s are 2 2s are. But if you have a by 2 minus b by 4, like if you have 1 by 2 minus 1 by 4, will you reduce the denominators? 2 1s are and 2 2s are.
No, ma'am.
No, we cannot do that. Here also a by 2 minus b by 4. You cannot simplify the denominators. 2 1s are 2 2s are. No, we cannot do that. But if you have a by 3 is equal to b by 21, you can is equal to, then you can cancel 3 1s are 3 7s are. If they're on either sides, you can do it. On the same side, you cannot. So in the same way here, we have a minus here. See it? And these are on the same side. These are like two terms. This is one term. This is another term separated by a minus sign. There's a minus here.
Okay, ma'am.
So you cannot cancel 2 and 2. Like if you have a minus here, like what I told you, you have a minus here. So you cannot cancel these two. Similarly, here we have a minus. You cannot simplify the denominators like that. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is one term. This is another term separated by a minus sign. So between these two terms, n by 2 is common. N by 2 is common. Between these two terms, n by 2 is common. So we bring it out. Now we'll have to write the leftovers in the bracket. So what is left over? This 2 and this one is left over. Write that in the bracket. Now you need to multiply 2 with every term inside the bracket. So basically in the bracket, there are two terms. There's this 2a. So multiply that by 2, this 2. And then this 2n minus 1 into d. Multiply that by 2. Inside the bracket, there are only two terms. 2a is one term. 2n minus 1 into d is another term. See, when you have 2 into 3 into 4. 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. That's all. You will not multiply 2 and 3, 2 and 4. Will you do that? If you have 2 into 3 into 4, you will not say 2 into 3, 6, 2 into 4, 8, and then 48. No. 2 3s are 6, 6 4s are 24. That's it. Similarly here, this when you're multiplying 2, n by 2 is common. Multiply this by 2. When you multiply this one by 2, it's enough. See, it's 2n minus 1 into d. Multiply the 2 to 2n minus 1. You don't have to multiply to d. See, it's 2 into 2n minus 1 into d. 2 into 2n minus 1 into d. So it will become 4n minus 2 into d. 4n minus 1 into d. So it will be 4n minus 1 into d. So that's what you see here. 4a plus 4n minus 2 into d. Minus, so here there is nothing outside. So these terms will come out as it is. So it will be minus 2a, minus into plus is minus, n minus 1 into d, close bracket. I repeat, so S2 minus S1, this is S2, this is S2 minus this is S1. So this is S2 minus S1. N by 2 is common. Bring it out. Now in the bracket, you should write 2 into 2a, 4a, 2 into 2n, 4n, 2 into minus 1, minus 2. Because you're multiplying 2 here, right? You're multiplying 2 here. So it'll become 4n minus 2 into d minus n by 2 is outside common. So it'll be minus 2a minus into plus is minus n minus 1 into d. This is one term. This is just one term. So minus 2a minus n minus 1 into d. Now, as always, group the A's and D's. Group the A's and D's. So this one has A, 4a minus 2a is 2a. 4a minus 2a is 2a. 4a and minus 2a is 2a. Now we have 4n minus 2 into d and n minus 1 into d. How do you simplify that? 4n minus 2 into d minus n minus 1 into d. So that means d is common. D is common. So in the bracket, you will get 4n minus 2 minus n plus 1. See, 4n minus 2 into d minus n minus 1 into d. So d is common. So you'll get 4n minus 2 minus n plus 1. Sorry. So n by 2, 4a minus 2a. 4a minus 2a is 2a. And then here d is common, as I showed you here. 4n minus 2 minus n plus 1 into d. Simplifying this one and this one. This and this gives us 2a. This one and this one, d is common. And in the bracket, you will get 4n minus 2 minus n plus 1. So n by 2 into 2a plus, on simplifying, 3n minus 1 into d. 3n minus 1 into d. So we worked S2 minus S1. We have worked S2 minus S1. Now we'll have to multiply that by 3. See, we'll have to find 3 times S2 minus S1. We'll have to find 3 times S2 minus S1. We found S2 minus S1. Now we'll have to find 3 times that. So 3 times S2 minus S1 will be multiply this one by 3. So it will be 3n by 2. This is S2 minus S1. So 3 times S2 minus S1 will be multiply that by 3. So 3 into S2 minus S1 is equal to multiply this one by 3. That will be 3n by 2 of 2a plus n minus 1 into d. 2a plus 3n minus 1 into d. So this is, so now I've marked this 1 and 2. I've marked this one 1 and 2. So in 1, what do you see? S3 is equal to this one. And in 2, what do you see? 3 times S2 minus S1 is also the same thing. So from 1 and 2, S3 is equal to 3 times S2 minus S1. We have S3 already. We have S3 already. Now we have worked 3 times S2 minus S1. So this is S3, which we have called 1. This is 3 times S2 minus S3, which 3 times S2 minus S1, which we have called 2. So from 1 and 2, we can see that they are equal. S3 is equal to 3 times S2 minus S1. So they have the same answer. What is 3 times S2 minus S1? This. What is S3? The same thing. Sorry. Yeah. So from 1 and 2, that's why I've marked this one. That's why I marked this 1 and 2. So from 1 into S3 is equal to 3 times S2 minus S1. Is it okay, children?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You need to practice, children. In order to remember, you have to practice. I've only made you understand. Now, this you cannot remember always. You'll forget, so you have to practice to remember this. Done, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Done.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. We have more sums like this. I've not still prepared the presentations. See, I have to prepare a few more. So we'll do it in the next class. Yeah. A body falls 16 meters in the first second of its motion. So a body is thrown from a height. A body is thrown from a height. A body falls, that means it covers 16 meters in the first second, like 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, like that. A body falls. So a body is thrown, meaning it's made to fall. So a body falls 16 meters in the first second of its motion, 48 meters in the second second, 80 meters in the third second. See, first second, take the same rhyme. First second, so next will be second second, next will be third second. A body falls 16 meters in the first second of its motion, 48 meters in the second second, and 80 meters in the third second, and so on. How far does it fall in 11 seconds is your question. Yes. Think and do it. See, I'll give you a clue, children. Here you can find only two things. Either it should be A11 or S11. Yes or no? Either it is the 11th term or it is the sum to 11 terms. Because first, second, third, second. So 11 seconds. 11 seconds. So you have to think, you should think if it is, I'm sorry, you should judge if it is A11 or S11. That's all. You should understand the situation. Yeah, I won't say anything more than that. More than this. Yeah. Class, use the emoji, raise your hand. Shreyas, Ramnathan, Tarun Murli, Sashmin, Ananya, Harini, Sneha, Nandini, Hitesh, Rajeshwari, Kanishka and Priyanka. All children, very good. Very nice. Yeah. Yes, please work. Do the numbers 16, 48, 80 form an AP?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Forms an AP with A equal to 16,
E is
B equal to 48 minus 16, which is
32.
32. Yeah. Yes, Shreyas, you wanted to say something?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, now tell me, is it A11 or S11?
Yes,
Ma'am, I
11.
think it's A11.
A11. Yeah, okay, fine.
A11, ma'am.
Let me put up both the answers and ask you. Lower your hands, children. Class, lower your hands. Yeah, how many of you go with A11? How many of you go with A11? Harini, Sneha, Shreyas, Priyanka. You must go with one of the two. Don't say I don't know. Yeah, very good. Okay. Hmm. Except Ananya. Ananya?
My sister called me. I couldn't copy the question, ma'am.
Oh, sorry?
My sister called me. I couldn't copy the question.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so all of you go with A11. Fine, Ananya, yeah. A11, correct? All right, let's analyze. What is 16, children? What is 16? The distance traveled in the distance covered by the object in the
First second, ma'am.
first second. What is 48? The
Distance traveled in the second.
the distance traveled by the object in the second. So like if it's falling from this height like this, you know, if it's falling down like this, so say this is in first second, it covers 16 meters. Then in the next second, the second, it covers 48 meters. Then in the third second, it covers 80 meters.
80.
Now tell me, children, what is the distance covered in 3 seconds? See, you're standing. This is your terrace, okay? This is your terrace. You're throwing an object. You're putting an object down. So it's traveling towards Earth, towards the surface of the Earth. Okay, so first second, it comes down by 16 meters. Second, it comes down by 48 meters. Third second by 80 meters. So what is the distance covered by the object in 3 seconds?
144 meter, ma'am.
Yeah, 144, because 80 plus, I don't know the total, but you should add 144 meters. Now, all of you agree with this or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
See, if I ask you, what is the distance covered by the object in the first second? 16 meters. In the second is only 1 second. It's the second, but that second is only 1 second. The duration is only 1 second. Third second duration is only 1 second. It is a third second, but the duration is only 1 second. So this is the distance traveled in 1 second. This is another 1 second. This is another 1 second. So this is during the first second. This is during the second second. This is during the third second. Only in the third second it travels 80 meters. But in 3 seconds, it is the distance traveled in the first second plus the distance traveled in the second plus the distance traveled in the third second. That is the distance traveled in 3 seconds. So how far does it fall in 11 seconds? 11 seconds. You analyze, you read every term. This is the distance covered in the first second alone. This is the distance covered in the second alone. This is the distance covered in the third second alone. So every term of the AP represents the distance covered in a particular second. Analyze the terms of the AP. Analyze. See, it's not that it's always A11 or always S11. It depends on the situation. It depends on what the terms of the AP convey. Now, what are the different terms of the AP convey to us here? 16. It's the distance traveled during the first second. 48. It is the distance traveled during the second. 80. It's the distance traveled during the third second. Then like that, the 11th term, like this is the first term, this is the second term, this is the third term. So third term is during the third second. So the 11th term will be the distance traveled in the 11th second. The first term is the distance traveled in the first second. The second term is the distance traveled in the second. The third term is the distance traveled in the third second. The fourth term will be the distance traveled in the fourth second. The fifth term will be the distance traveled in the fifth second. So the 11th term will represent the distance traveled in the 11th second. Only in the 11th second, that 1 second, that 11th second. But what is the question? How far does it fall in 11 seconds? In the total duration of 11 seconds, how far has it fallen? Now tell me, is it A11 or S11? Okay, did not understand?
Confusing, ma'am.
A11 because since A is 16, A2 is 48, A3 is 80. The total distance traveled in 11 seconds will be A11, while S11 will give the sum of all the distances, like all the terms, and that would lead to repetition. So 16 plus 48, 48 also includes 16, so it will get repeated. So S11 is wrong.
That means the question is meaning we have not interpreted the information correctly. All right, children, let's come out of that slide. Fine. Okay. Now tell me. Anyways. Okay. Yeah. $48 and sorry. Yeah. Have I represented it correctly? The distance, it's falling from a height. It's falling from a height. This is the surface of the ground. This is the surface of the ground. Okay, so it's falling down. The object is falling down. It's here, then it comes here, then here. Okay. Now first is do the terms form an AP? Okay, do these terms form an AP? Yeah, A is 16 and the common difference is what? 48 minus 16, which is 32. Here also the difference is 32. That is 48 minus 16 is 32. And 18 minus 48 is also 32. So the common difference is 32. So it's an AP. This I think all of you understand. So it's an AP. Now what I'm asking you is, what does 16 tell you? 16 tells you the distance covered in the first second. What does 48 tell you? The distance traveled in the second, not in 2 seconds. The distance traveled only in the second. This one. This is the distance traveled in the first second. This is the distance traveled in the second. So what does 48 tell you? The distance traveled only during the second. What does 80 tell you? The third term. The first term tells you the distance. Okay, let me write it here. The first term tells us $16, the first term. Distance traveled in in the first second. Then what does 48 tell you? 48 is the second term. The second term, what does it tell you? Distance traveled in the second. In the second. That's what is given in the question. We are not writing that. Then 80. What does that tell you? 80 is a third term. What does the third term tell you? It tells you the distance traveled or covered, whatever, traveled or covered in the third second. Now, if you go to the 11th term, so this is A1, this is A2, this is A3. So you go to A11 and you ask A11, what do you represent? Okay, A11, the 11th term. The 11th term, you ask the 11th term, what do you represent? So it will say, I represent the distance traveled. I represent the distance traveled in the 11th second. In the 11th second. In the 11th second, only in that 11th second. But what is the question? How far does it fall in 11 seconds? That is A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 plus A5 till A11. These numbers represent the distance traveled in a particular second, wherein the duration is only 1 second. The terms represent the distance traveled in a particular second, wherein it may be the 5th second, but the duration is not 5 seconds. The duration is only 1 second. The terms represent the distance traveled in a particular second. So if you find A11, that will only tell you the distance traveled by the object in that 11th second. That is after the 10th second till the end of the 11th second. That distance only it will give you. But what does this English mean? How far does it fall in 11 seconds? In the total duration of 11 seconds. That is from the beginning till the end of the 11 seconds. How far does it fall? So that will be the sum of all the distances. 16 plus 48 plus 80 plus till the 11th term. So it is A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 till A11, which is nothing but S11. So for this question, you have to find S11, not A11. then when should you find A11? If they ask you to find the distance traveled in the 11th second or during the 11th second, the distance traveled during the 11th second or in the 11th second, that particular, that particular second, that 1 second, that 11th second, that 1 second, 11 second, that is A11. In 11 seconds, meaning in 11 seconds, 1, 2, 3, 11 seconds. So duration is 11 seconds. That's the sum of all the terms till the 11th term, which is S11.
How will the questions be formed if the object falling from a height travels in the first second 16 meters, in the second second a total of 48 meters? How will that be given in a question?
Yeah. So if the object covers, 16 meters in the first second or during the first second, and 48 meters. Okay, the object covers 16 meters in the first second, 48 meters in 2 seconds, 80 meters in 3 seconds.
Okay.
In 1 second, in 2 seconds, in 3 seconds, meaning duration is 3 seconds. In 1 second, in 2 seconds, in 3 seconds, in 4 seconds.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So then let me give both the questions so that. So here, children, you should ask the terms of the AP. You must ask every term of the AP what it represents. Only that will give you an idea as to what you have to find. It's not like always A11, S11, not like that. It depends on the information given, what every term stands for. How far does it fall in 11 seconds? Okay, let me change the question. How far does it fall? I can't say how far for that. What is the distance covered? Find the distance covered by the body in the 11th second. 11th second. Also find the distance covered by the body in 11 seconds. So the solution, please rewrite, please score out the question and write it again or make changes in the question. So 16, 48, 80, so on, forms an AP, forms an AP with A equal to 16 and D equal to 48 minus 16, 32. So we have to we have to first find A11. For the first one, it is A11. For the second one, it is S11. So for S11, you can use the formula n by 2 of the first term plus the last term because you would have found A11. So for S11, you can use the formula n by 2 first term plus the last term or the other one also. Yeah, children, please work.
A11 is equal to 336.
Yeah.
And S11 is equal to 1036.
1 minute. Actually, I don't have the answer. So we have to work and find. I have only the questions, so we'll work. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is the total distance traveled by the object in 11 seconds. Therefore, the distance traveled by the body in 11 seconds is equal to 1936 meters. Is it okay, children, now? Feeling better?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Okay, so next one.
One minute, ma'am.
Yeah, please. Please let me know once you finish.
Completed, ma'am.
Yeah.
Done, ma'am.
All right. Next one. Very sorry, children. Yeah. So the charges of boring a well are ₹5 for the first meter and increases by 50 paise for boring every subsequent meter. There is the question still needs to be completed. If I write that, you'll get some clue. So I'm not completing it. Find the cost of boring the 10th meter and also I've not completed. Yeah. Now, is this A10 or S10? So it can be different here because it was, like whatever in the earlier thing, it cannot be the same here. It depends on the information given and it depends on what every number stands for in the AP. Ask every number what it represents. Only that can help you find whether it is A10 or S10. Now tell me the terms of the AP, children. Tell me the terms of the AP.
5.55.
5.
5.5.
55.
5.50.
5.50, which is 5.5.
6.
6.
6.5.
Very good. Very good. And so on. Okay, forms an AP. Forms an AP with A is equal to 5 and D equal to 5.5 minus 5, which is 0.5. Correct. Because for boring, so what is 5 here? What is 5? It's a first term, but what does it stand for? 5 is the cost of boring, charge for boring the
well.
Yeah, somebody tell me what is 5 here?
Boring the well
Charge
for
for
first.
boring the well in the first meter.
Charge for boring the first meter. Charge for boring the first meter. The charge for boring the first meter is 5 rupees. And then it increases by 50 paise for boring every subsequent meter. Subsequent meter is like second meter, third meter, fourth meter, like that. It increases by 50 paise for boring every subsequent meter. So then what is 5.5? All of you understand that 50 paise more, no? So 5.5. Then another 50 paise more, so 6. 50 paise more, 6.5. Yeah, then what? So what does 5.5 represent? It is a charge for boring the
Well at the second meter.
second meter alone. Only the second meter. So what will be the charges of boring 2 meters? What will be the charges for boring 2 meters? 2 meters meaning the first and second meter, 2 meters.
10.5.
10.5. 10.5. What is 6? What does the number 6 represent here? It is a charge for boring the third meter. What is 6.5? It's a charge for boring the fourth meter, only the fourth meter. Only that fourth meter. So what will be the cost for boring the 10th meter? Is it A10 or S10?
S10, ma'am.
No, it is A10.
How, ma'am?
Ask every term, darling. What is 5? So what is 6? What is 6? It is the cost for boring
Third.
third, no? Third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th. So what is the cost for boring the 10th meter? 10th meter is only the 10th meter.
A10, ma'am.
A10. First meter is A1, second meter is A2, third meter is A3, fourth meter is A4. So the charge for boring the 10th meter is A10. And also the cost of boring a well 60 meters deep. This is the question. The cost of boring a well 60 meters deep. So once the well is dug, it's a 60 meters deep well. Will you pay him only for the 60th meter? No, you have to pay the person the charge for boring all the 60 meters, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It is not, you will not pay him A60. A60 is only the charge for boring the 60th meter, that 60th meter. But you've the well is 60 meters deep. So how much you have to pay the person? You'll have to pay him A1 for boring the first meter. You'll have to pay him A2 for boring the second meter. You'll have to pay him A3 for boring the third meter, A4 for the fourth meter, A5 for the fifth meter. Like this, you'll have to pay him A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus A4 plus A5 till A60. That means it is S60. So to find A10 and S60. So A10 is equal to A plus 10 minus 1 into D. A is 5 plus 9 into D, 0.5. 5 plus 4.5, which is rupees 9.5. Is this correct, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is only for the 10th meter. Just to dig the 10th after the 9th meter, the 10th meter alone, for that it is 9.5 rupees. Now, the next is to find the cost of boring a well 60 meters deep. So for that, you will have to pay him A1 plus A2. Yeah. Next it is S60 because you'll have to pay him the charge for boring the first meter, second meter, third meter, fourth meter. So you'll have to pay him A1 for boring the first meter. You have to pay him A2 for boring the second meter. You'll have to pay him A3 for boring the third meter. So like that till 60 meters. These are the charges for every meter. For every meter. A60 is a charge only for that 60th meter. So like here, you can make out. Now this is the first term, second term, third term, fourth term. So the charge for boring 4 meters, the charge for boring 4 meters will be 5 plus 5.5 plus 6 plus 6.5. The charge for boring the fourth meter is 6.5. But the charge for boring 4 meters is 5 plus 5.5 plus 6 plus 6.5. S60 is 60 by 2 of 2A. 2A plus 60 minus 1 into D. 30, 10 plus, what's this? 59. What's half of 59? 29.5. 30 into 39.5. Using a calculator, 39.5 into 30. 1185. 1185. All right, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Done, children? All of you?
Yes.
This is your homework question. Complete this. We'll discuss the answer in the next class. Write down the question, children. Done writing, children?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Please try to finish working this by the next class. We'll see the answer in the next class. Done, children?
Yes, ma'am.
1
Yes, we
minute.
do.
Right, it's getting late for others. Take a screenshot, children. If you're still not finished, take a screenshot. Yeah. All right, children. So that's it for today's session. Thank you so much. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, children.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.